Good morning, everybody. And now for this here. This webinar this morning is going to be slightly different to what has been done leading up to the implementation of the two-pot regime, which is around the corner. It's on 1 September next month on Spring Day. So used to, in the build-up, we dealt with a lot of the legal and technical aspects of how the reform is going to work. So this morning, our Executive General Manager will be taking us through a demo of how it will work practically. So this session will assist members and our HR representatives with the whole, how would the savings withdrawal claim process work? Where do I go to submit my claim forms? Will members be allowed to submit manual claim forms? What information needs to be submitted, etc. We will be having a Q&A session afterwards to make sure that all uncertainties are addressed and to just provide more comfort to our stakeholders. So this morning session, it is not CPD accredited, so there won't be a CPD certificate available to be downloaded afterwards. The sessions will be recorded, and the link to the recording will also be made available after the webinar, and it will also be circulated to all of our attendees this morning. Then I would also like to inform our attendees that we do have on our NBC website, there is, if you look at the top, there is a two-part section. If you click on that, you will be able to see a whole demographic or a picture with a breakdown of a high level of how the system works. So you can also advise our members to go and look on the website should they want to. The website also makes provision for a lot of the frequently asked questions with answers that we have been receiving. So that is a nice tool to refer the members to. And then I would also like to inform our attendees that we do have an NBC two-pot hotline. For should you have any queries and you would like to speak to someone telephonically. So the number is, and we've also made this, this is also available on the website, but if you would like to write down the number, it is 010-206-0014, as well as a email address. And the email address is as follows: twopots, plural, @nbc.co.za. All right, so before we jump right into it, and I introduce our speaker for today, we did prepare 3 poll questions. So we would like to share them with our attendees and just, would like them to participate. So our first question is, will it be compulsory for members to withdraw from the savings component on 1 September 2024? Okay, yes. So it's not compulsory. I see the majority of our attendees does know the answer to this. I think we're sitting on above 90%. It will not be compulsory for members to make a withdrawal. Not within the first year, not within the second year. They don't have to touch the savings withdrawal benefit at all, and just keep it there for it to grow until there's really an emergency. And they also have the option to choose to transfer it to their retirement pot whenever they wish to do so. To remember that if you don't withdraw from your savings pot, this will be your lump sum cash that you will be allowed to take upon retirement. And then if you transfer it to your your retirement component, that pot will also grow significantly. Then we would like to move on to our second question for this morning. That is, of course, we've realized there is a kind of a misconception on the ground out there. Should a member then choose not to withdraw, are they going to lose out on their benefit? Seems like the majority of our attendees also has this one correct. 96% of the people attending this morning agrees that it is no. Your rights, you do not lose out on your rights, and you lose the benefits should you choose not to withdraw. It will remain in your savings pot, and it will continue to grow with your 1/3 contribution as well as investment growth thereon. And then for our last question this morning is, will all members be allowed to withdraw 30,000 Rand from their savings component on 1 September? So will everybody automatically be allocated 30,000 Rand from their vested pot on the 1st of September? This is also quite a misconception that we've noted between members of different funds as well. So that is not the case. So the seeding capital, the amount that's going to be transferred from your vested pot to your savings pot, is going to be 10% of your accumulated savings up until a maximum of 30,000 Rand. So what that means is that if you have at least 20,000 Rand in your vested pot saved up as at end of August, there will be 2,000 Rand in your savings that you will be allowed to withdraw. However, should you have 5 million Rand in your savings pot, the seeding amount will be capped at 30,000 Rand. So those members will only have a maximum of 30,000 Rand to withdraw. But it seems like the majority, I think we are almost 70% of our attendees also does have that question correct. Thank you everybody for participating in our poll. So without no further ado, I would like to introduce our presenter for today, Jaina Pancham. She is our Executive General Manager in our administration space. Good morning, Jaina.
Administration Services Kiosk. With NBC, there is no need to contact a call center or wait in a queue. By accessing NBC services via the NBC digital platform known as Ask, Administration Services Kiosk, clients have secure, login-based access to confidential, personal, up-to-date information held on the various NBC databases. Ask also provides for direct, paperless electronic submission of claims which can be tracked once submitted, thus improving turnaround time on claims processing with minimal delays. Ask can be accessed via the internet or mobile applications. For more information, please see our website www.nbc.co.za or contact us on info@nbc.co.za.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen and colleagues. Thank you for joining our webinar this morning. The objective of the webinar this morning is to ensure that both our employer representatives and member representatives are enabled to submit savings withdrawals on seeding day or post-seeding day, being 1 September 2024. I'm going to quickly move on to the slide presentation so I can take you through that. The contents of this morning's presentation includes the following: the saving withdrawal submission of claim forms and their methods of how to do this, pre-requirements from the employer, pre-requirements from the member to ensure that they are enabled to submit savings withdrawals online submission of claim forms. I'll take you through a presentation. Thereafter, I'll take you through a system demo as to exactly how to submit a claim online and show you how simple that exercise actually is. Take you through manual submission of claim forms that needs to be submitted by the employer, the saving withdrawal payment timelines, the confirmation of payment and tax directive, saving withdrawal payment fees, the administrator contact details, and questions and answers. There are 4 options to submit a savings withdrawal application. The first one being submitted by the employer online. The employer may submit bulk applications via a template, which I will take you through just now. The employer may submit claims manually, provided it's supported by a certified copy of the member's ID and a bank statement that's been stamped by the bank. Members may not submit claims manually. In order for the employer to submit claims online, the employer needs to have access to our NBC digital platform, particularly Ask, which is the administration portal. It's the administration services kiosk portal, which is abbreviated to Ask. Employer representatives are required to be registered as a user on Ask. On receipt of the required information or documentation in respect of the employer representative, they will be registered on to Ask. It's imperative that this information be provided to NBC prior to the 1st of September so that employer representatives can be enabled to process and submit claim forms online post 1 September. Providing employer access to the NBC digital platform, Ask online submission of claim forms. Representatives of the employer registered on the NBC digital platform Ask the following information is required: an NBC digital platform access authorization form, a digital product access form, employer representative web access form. On the receipt of above, the granting of the access to the digital platform, the employer representative will be able to submit savings withdrawals online. These 3 forms I will take you through just now. I have samples included in the presentation, and I'll talk you through them. The employer access authorization form is pretty much a form that needs to be completed by someone senior at the employer, be it an HR director, senior financial manager, or someone like that, that authorizes their representatives to have access to their online platform to view member information and to submit the savings withdrawal forms online. The digital product access form. This form is also completed by the senior person as the employer. This form allows the senior person to authorize a representative to have access to specific information only. For example, a representative may have access to Ask and online claim forms, but not to savings withdrawals and vice versa. So this specifically indicates which products on the online platform the representative will have access to. The last form amongst the 3 that's required, this is actually the employer representative himself that has been elected by the senior person within the employer. So this will be the representative that will have access to the online platform to look up member records, to submit savings withdrawals, and so on. It's imperative that this information is correct. On receipt of this information, the employer representative will be given access to the system. And once they're given access to the system, they will receive a PIN and password to access the system. On the first access of the system, they were required to change their passwords and input the ID numbers to validate that it's the correct person accessing the system. Requirements for member access to the digital platform. Member benefits information and access to the online submission of savings withdrawal applications available on Ask. The employer is required to provide the following information in respect of the members to be registered on Ask. To register members on Ask, the minimum information required is the members' full names per their ID or passport, their ID number itself or their passport number, it must be a valid passport, email address and or cell phone number. On receipt of the above information from their employers, members will be registered on Ask and they can then view and submit their own application forms online. There's a bulk template that we can use by the employer to register members on Ask. It's imperative that this information is then again provided to NBC as soon as possible so members can be given access directly to the portal. Here's an example of the template to bulk register members onto Ask. The fields, there are 4 compulsory fields: the first name, surname, ID number, email address, and cell phone number. You can use either or, email or cell phone, or both. The member's obligation. To be registered on Ask, the member has to provide certain information to the employer. The reason we ask for the additional information to the basic information to register the member onto Ask is so that when we populate a savings withdrawal, some of this information becomes pre-populated if it has been provided to NBC upfront. So that information that's required is member's full names per his ID book or his passport, his identity number or his passport number and the country of issue, his physical address, which is required for tax purposes, his tax number to apply for the tax directive, his banking details to obviously make his payments. Please note that payments can only be made into a bank account that is registered in the member's name, the member's email address, and the member's cell phone number. Employers are requested to provide this information prior to 1 September to enable NBC to register members on ASK, therefore enabling members to apply for their own two-part savings withdrawal. Online submission of savings withdrawals. The employer may submit online saving claims on behalf of the members using their email address already granted to them when they register on to ASK. The same process is followed by the member and the employer. The member cannot submit manual claim forms. This is only allowed by the employer. And the reason for that, we want to make sure that the claim form is an authentic claim form and it's not fraudulent. The employer can submit manual claim forms individually or via bulk template via the central mailbox. I will show you just now a copy of the template. The central mailbox address for two-part savings claims is twopartclaims@nbc.co.za. Online savings submission of bulk template. The fields on this template are all compulsory with the exception of system number. System number is a unique number that's generated by NBC administration system. You may not have that in your possession as the employer. All the other information you should actually have. Once that information is completed and submitted to NBC, NBC will process these claims in bulk. I will demonstrate to you shortly how to access, ask, and submit a savings withdrawal. I just want to go to a presentation of how you actually do that. To access NBC, you will go to the NBC website, which is www.nbc.co.za. You will then select NBC Land, and you will come onto this page. You will input your email address and your password, or should be using a cell phone number. You'll input your cell phone number, and you will click Login. You will then be issued with a one-time PIN number, either via email or cell phone. You're required to enter your OTP number before you actually progress to the next page. Once you've entered your OTP number and you submit, it'll verify, the system will verify you and then give you access to an icon that will appear on your screen, which will be Ask, the NBC Administration Services kiosk. You click on that icon, it will take you to the next page where you can search for your member. If you're an employer, you will have access only to your fund. If you're a member, you only have access only to your member record. So if you sign in or register as a member or access the system as a member, it'll bring off your information and you don't have to search for your information. If you're the employer, it'll bring up under scheme name, your fund name, and you will have to then select your members, and you can use various options. You can use surname, first name, ID numbers, system number if you have that in your possession, or the employee number to actually search for my member record. You will then get an OTP number. You'll have to input your OTP number. Either you'll get it by cell phone or email. You've now got access to the member record. Once you've input that, it will take you to the member record where you can see the members' values and transactions. If you click on values and transactions, the members' benefit as at 1 September will be displayed. So in other words, the members' fund credit, in this particular example, is 1.7 million rand. It will then display the various portions of his money. So his vested right portion is reflected as 1.39 million. His non-vested portion is 288,000 rand. And his savings pot is 10,000 rand. Sorry, his retirement pot is 10,446 rand, and his savings pot is 35,000 in this particular example. what has happened in this particular example is the two parts seeding has already taken place and it's been populated, so it's calculated your savings withdrawal already. To complete the savings withdrawal application form, should you have provided details such as the member's banking details and the member's tax number, this information will be pre-populated should you actually get to the savings withdrawal application form. Should you not have provided that information, these fields will be blank and you'll be able to capture that information. Once you've captured that information, you'll click on submit, and that's pretty much the completion of the exercise of submitting an online claim. I want to quickly take you to a system demo and take you through a live example of how to submit a savings withdrawals online. So having registered, you would have gone through the initial bits that I've shown you earlier on, where you would register, get your OTP number, and then you'll get to the landing page. You will only have the icon called Ask. Because I'm an NBC employee, I have a whole lot of other icons. You won't see those. Once you click on Ask, your terms and conditions will come up. Please accept those. Once you've accepted those, it will take you, if you're an employer, directly to your fund. If you're a member, it will take you directly to your fund and your member record. So this is a demo fund, and it's a demo site, so it might be a little bit slow, so please bear with me. You then can go and search for a member. So I've got a system number, which I've pre-selected. So I've input his system number, and I'm going to search for his record. So demo number, member surname Dembo11 has come up. That's my member. I'm going to select him. It then takes me to the page where I've got all my member information. So all the members' personal information appears on this page. If you click on values and transactions, that's where you need to click. Just give it a moment, it will populate the values. So member Devo 11 has 78,414 Rand in his fund credit. Oh, something's gone wrong here. Apologies, I'm just going to select another member. So this one is not populated as savings withdrawal. I'm just going to try another records. Apologies for that. I'm going to select demo 5. I'll go back into values and transactions. And it is a demo site, so please forgive me. Oh, here we go. So member demo 5 has got 817,218 Rand in his fund credit. The seeding in this particular member record has happened, so we've done that in the background on the assumption that we're already on the 1st of September. So in his savings pot, you'll see he's got 30,001 cent. His retirement pot has got no money in it because the September contributions have not yet been allocated to this member record. His vested portion is 688,131 Rand, and his non-vested is 99,086 Rand. If you add up the vested, non-vested, and retirement pot and savings pot, it comes back to his fund credit of 817,218 Rand and 32 cents. Now, we now know he has 30,000 in his savings pot. We're going to go now, in order to submit his savings withdrawal claim, we're going to click on Claim for My Savings. It's going to send you an OTP number. Just going to take a moment for the OTP number to come through. It's come through to my email. You simply copy and paste that into and submit. Just going to give it a second, so it will return your saving withdrawal claim form, and you will have to complete the details. Had this information been provided to NBC upfront, this information would appear in the members, it would pre-populate. So the branch code is a universal code for First National Bank. If you do not, it will pre-populate. If it does not pre-populate, you're going to have to input the branch code, which is the universal code for FNB or any other bank for that matter. I'm going to select the bank account type. The tax reference number is a compulsory field. You have to complete all these fields with the asterisks. In other words, all the fields are compulsory, so you're going to have to complete them. I don't have a tax number, so I'm going to put in zeros for now. And I'm going to submit. So that is the end of the process. You'll get a message at the top end of your screen that says claim submitted, and you go OK, and that claim is pretty much has been processed. So I'm going to go back into the same member record. And this time around, I'm going to show you, I'm going to try and submit a second claim for the same person. So it's the same member, demo 5. I'll go back into his values and transactions screen. I click again on save for my claim for my savings. I request an OTP number. What I want to show you here is that if you submitted a savings withdrawal in a tax year, it's not going to allow you to submit a second one, irrespective of the amount of money you have available in your savings pot. I'm just waiting for the OTP number to come through. Okay, capture the OTP number and press submit. And I'm going to try and claim another 3,000 Rand. If you look at the top, it says two-part savings withdrawal benefit workflow is already in progress for this tax year. It will not allow you to submit a second claim within the same tax year. So that's already built into the system. So I want to cancel this one. I want to show you one more example. I'm going to try and use the same member again, but this time we want to claim more than that's available in the savings portion. I'm going to select demo 5. That's our same member we used previously. I'll go back into values and transactions. I'm going to go, your savings withdrawal pot has 30,001 cent in it. I'm going to go and claim an amount greater than that. Just going to wait for an OTP number to come through. So there's quite a bit of validations we've built into the system, such as You cannot submit a claim twice in the same tax year. You cannot claim an amount more than is available in your savings withdrawal pot. My OTP numbers come through. Just give me a second. I will be with you now. Okay, we capture our OTP number and we submit. It's the same member demo 5. And I'm going to try and claim 35,000. Going to submit. The amount must be less than 30,001 cent because that's all that you actually have available in your savings component. So I've covered all the various scenarios of how you can and how the system prevents you from claiming benefits that are not allowed by legislation. So all of those validations have been built into the system. So if you log in and you actually want to
Good morning, everybody. It seems that there's a technical error on Jana's side. Please give us a few seconds just to for her to get back online. Thank you. Should be a few minutes, seconds.
So where did I stop talking to myself? Let's go back here. We're starting there. I don't think you saw that, did you? No. But how do I? We're expecting technical difficulties. Don't go. Wait till I'm ready. We're live again. Now, Kia? Go to my presentation. You gotta go there. Okay, we're live. Thank you for your patience. Sorry for the inconvenience. We've experienced a minor technical issue. So if I can start off with the slide, saving withdrawal payment timeline. I think that's where we lost our connection. So sincere apologies for that. The processing of savings withdrawal claims will take approximately 30 days. And this is because of the influx of claims we most probably going to expect on the beginning of September. The processing is also dependent on a couple of things. The accurate information being provided upfront, members having no tax problems with regard to their tax affairs, and no 37D deductions. Any of the above information not available on day one will cause the claims to be slightly delayed, as most of the information is from external providers. The saving withdrawal processing fee, our fee is set at 350 Rand per claim, excluding value-added tax. The saving withdrawal fee will be deducted from the member's saving withdrawal amount being claimed by the member. So in other words, if it's claiming 2,000 Rand, the 300 Rand will be deducted off the 2,000 Rand, which makes his benefit 1,700 Rand, on which tax will be applied for. The administrator contact details for two-part queries. The email address is twopots@nbc.co.za. The call center number is 010-206-0014. The central mailbox for manual claim submission by the employer only is twopotclaims@nbc.co.za. An administration guide on how to actually process claims online or manually, or to get access to the system, or to our online system, is available and will be provided to you by your administrator servicing your particular fund. Thank you for your time and patience. I will now hand over to the audience for questions. Thank you, Carla.
Thank you so much for your presentation, China. And then I wanted to introduce our Q&A panel for this morning. Rowan Pillay just joined us. He's a divisional head also in the administrative space. I see that we did receive a lot of questions for both you, China, and Rowan in terms of the whole claims process. Kia, she shall also be joining us just to address any of the legal questions that might come up. Let me see. So the first question for Rowan and Ujjaina is, when is the money available in our bank accounts once you made a withdrawal?
So I think that's pretty fund specific, Carla. So I think in terms of our turnaround times, because of the different variables, we say it'll take up to 30 days for payment to be made. And the reason for that is depending on volumes that come in on day one, the actual fund setup. So in some cases, there might not be enough funds to cover all withdrawals. So there'll be a disinvestment process that needs to happen. We haven't actually done any tax applications with SARS with this live. So that also may take some time. So there's various variables, but it can take up to 30 days for a payment to be processed and in the member's bank account.
Yeah, Rowan, just to add on to that, it's also permitted that there's no 37D issues. So there's no outstanding home loans, pending divorce orders, pending maintenance orders, or employer claims that I might have against the member for damages caused. So that could also possibly further delay. In terms of a divorce order, if I can just use an example, we might have to obtain the non-member spouse's consent.
Correct.
Then we've got another question. Will you be able to withdraw more than 30,000 Rand? So I will deal with this one. Yes, you will be. But on the 1st of September, the maximum amount in your savings pot will be 30,000. So it will only grow from the 1st of September because that's when your contributions are going to be split. So all contributions received by the fund from the 1st of September will then be split. 1/3 it goes into your savings pot, 2/3 in your retirement pot. So if you leave that money, it will grow. And then once per tax year, you will be allowed to take whatever is in your savings pot or just a portion thereof. And then the second question is, if I draw 30,000 Rand for my savings pot, am I liable to pay this money back? I don't know if you, Rowan, would like to answer that one.
Sure. So once you draw that money from your savings pot, you're not liable to pay that money back. It's part of the money that you do have access to as part of your retirement fund benefit. So once you withdraw that 30,000 from whatever value you withdraw from the actual savings pot, you don't have to pay that money back.
No, it's your savings. You are entitled to it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Colin, may I just add to that? Should a member want to replenish the amount that is actually withdrawn, the option is to make additional voluntary contributions into the future to replenish that amount. That will be split up as contributions, 1/3 to your savings pot, 2/3 to your retirement pot. Thanks, Colin.
Correct. Yes, thank you, Jaina. Important to note that should you decide to make additional voluntary contributions, you do not have the option to pay everything into your savings pot. So the 1/3, 2/3 split is also applicable to those additional contributions. They, like Jaina mentioned, they will go 1/3 into your savings and 2/3 into your retirement, but that is a way to replenish your savings pot. And then we've got a question. If you were over the age of 55 on the 1st of March 2021, is there an additional form that the members will need to complete to be part of the two-pot? Or is it for all your members, will they be moving to the two-pot automatically?
Colin?
So yes, Jaina.
There is a form. It's included in the administration guide already, and the form will be available shortly to be distributed to employers. It will also be, before the end of September, displayed on our website so members can elect on the website.
Thank you, Jaina.
Yeah.
So yes, if you are 55, you have to exercise your decision to opt in. It's not automatically applicable.
If I may just add on there, Carla, that's specifically for Provident Fund members. So
Yes.
if you're a Provident Fund member, then you need to opt in. If you're a pension fund member, you don't need to opt in. You'll automatically be part of the two-pot system.
Thank you, Jaina and Rowan. And welcome, Kia, just by way of introduction. Kia is also from our she's our a legal advisor in our legal space. So the next question we have is, will members have access to the maximum of 30,000 Rand every single year, or does it only pertain to the initial seeding capital? Kia, I'm going to address this one to you.
Thank you, Carla. So essentially what the legislation is saying is that given the fact that the two parts, being the savings part and the retirement part, technically speaking, will only start to grow from the 1st of September, to assist members with having a balance on the 1st of September, what they have said is that we should, as funds, transfer 10% or 30,000 Rand, whichever is the lesser, into the savings component or part. That way, from the 1st of September, there would be a balance in which members would be able to withdraw from. Thank
And
you,
then
Carla.
a follow-up question for you, Kia. How many times am I allowed to withdraw from the savings pot?
So with regards to the withdrawal, you are only allowed to withdraw once every tax year. The tax year starts from March of this year and ends the following February of the following year. So you can only withdraw once every tax year. Thank you, Carla.
So it could happen that you will be permitted to make within the same year if you make a withdrawal end of February and then again end of March. The two withdrawals will fall within the same year, calendar year, but it's outside of the tax year. So that could be possible. Then Jaina, is Ask the same as NBC Land?
So when you access NBC web portal, you'll get to NBC Land. When you access NBC Land, it takes you to Ask, which is a portal within NBC Land. So the process is access NBC website, which is NBC www.nbc.co.za, then click on NBC Land. It'll then give you the option to click on Ask, which is the Administration Services kiosk, and that will enable you to access member records and submit savings withdrawals.
Thank you, Jaina. Kia, is this 30,000 Rand savings withdrawal, is it going to be taxed? If you could maybe expand on that.
So any withdrawal from the savings pot will be taxed. It will be taxed on the marginal tax rate. So depending on the salary bracket that the member belongs or rather falls under, that is the tax that will be applicable to any and all withdrawals from the savings component only. Thank you, Carla.
Thank you. Thank you, Kia. And then Rowan, I think you would be able to address this question. The attendees asking, please explain the process a withdrawal from a savings pot when dealing with a type B umbrella fund. For example, with our bargaining council funds, as the employer is not directly registered in Ask.
Okay, so in terms of those particular funds, we're still able to give those particular employers access to the Ask platform so that they're able to submit claims on behalf of members. Members will also be able to register directly onto the platform themselves so that they can also, submit those two-pot withdrawal claims. If they're unable to get the online access for whatever reason, they still have the option of submitting those manual forms.
Thank you, Rowan. So the process is more or less similar to our
Yes.
type A funds. Will members with no email addresses be able to claim, Jaina?
They will, Carla. So members can register either using their email addresses or their cell phone numbers. If this information is provided to the employer will then submit that information to NBC. We will register them on Ask. The details were provided to that cell phone number, as in their PIN and password. Members will then be able to use that PIN and password on the first login. It will request their ID numbers to verify that it's the correct person. So yes, members can register using their cell phone numbers.
All right, so basically they do need the ID number and either an email address or a cell phone number.
That's right.
On registration on Ask, members are getting emails that the employer or area reps should do something to finalize the process. They will only then be registered. Please could you confirm?
So
Rowan,
I
could
think
you answer that?
from an individual member perspective, because we have no way of verifying a member, when a member themselves goes into our platform and then tries to register, what will happen is they'd get a message that they need to go to their employer or area rep to verify who they are and then confirm with NBC so access can be granted. In order to alleviate that, I think as Jenna presented, what an option we've made available is for employers to provide all the member information directly on a template, and then we can register them in bulk. So we eliminate that verification process. But unfortunately, for an individual member that's trying to register, the only way we can verify them is via that employer or area representative.
Thank you, Ran. And then perhaps a follow-up question to that. So after how long can a member access the online platform after filling all the necessary forms? Maybe just give an estimate, because I know there's a lot of variables to this.
Yeah, there is quite a variables, and I think we've seen a large uptake now at the moment because employers are trying to get members registered. The process internally, I think, for us to get those members, I think at this point in time, with the volumes that we're experiencing, it can take anywhere between 3 and 5 days.
Thank you so much for that, Rowan. And then, Kia, I'll take this question and you can perhaps add on to my explanation. So the question is, what is the non-vested funds? So if you look at the three components that you have, so from the 1st of September, you will have your savings pot and your retirement pot and your vested pot component that has all of your savings up until the 31st of August 2024. So within your vested component, for Provident Fund members, that is important to note, is for our Provident Fund members, and if we could recall back to the 1st of March 2021 with the whole T-Day reform. So your vested rights within that pot is everything on up until the 1st of March 2021, and that is still your cash component when you retire. Your non-vested funds, when you retire, you can take 1/3 of that in cash and 2/3 of that also needs to be annuitized. So in summary, your non-vested funds is all contributions in your Provident Fund pot from the 1st of March 2021 up until the end of August 2024. Important to note that when you resign as a Provident Fund member, you are still allowed to take your entire vested component in cash. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you want to add on to that. I know it could get
Yeah.
quite technical.
Yes, it is quite technical, but in short, you would still be able, as a member, to have access to your vested component. That being that you've exited the fund. So that is what needs to happen. You would have to exit the fund, and obviously there are various scenarios that would be applicable, be it dismissal, retrenchment, or resignation, right? And this would be still applicable after the 1st of September with regards to the vested component and your ability to have options in terms of the cash payment that comes from that vested component. I think that's all I'd be adding. Thank you, Colin.
Thank you. And I think this also adds on to this, the next question. What is the difference between the vested and the savings spots? You could maybe expand on that one.
Okay, so the big difference between the vested component as well as the savings component is that with the savings component, you have access to your savings whilst you are still employed. Whereas with the vested component, in order for you to have access to that savings in that component, as I had mentioned, is that you have to exit the fund altogether.
Yeah, so
that is the main difference. Yeah.
Your vested pot up on termination, that is dismissal or resignation, it's only then where you can take everything. Should you never touch your vested pot on any exit event and you keep on transferring your vested component from the previous fund to the new fund and keep it there until retirement, it's important to note that only the vested benefits within that pot can be taken and 1/3 of the non-vested. So it's slightly different when you reach retirement so you won't be able to get the whole component in cash when you retire. And I think, Jana, you did touch on this. How will members withdraw if they have no email address? Can the OTP be sent to a cell phone number? That is correct.
Yes, that's correct.
And then we have, will there be a consent form for the non-member spouse to complete if there is a divorce settlement that awards a certain percentage of the member's pension interest? Okay, so where the fund already received a final divorce order that was granted by the court, the fund will not pay out a savings withdrawal benefit unless it is satisfied that the payment there will be sufficient money left across all three components to make good payment to the non-member spouse. Okay, so when the fund receives it, they will and together with the savings withdrawal benefit from the claim from the member, they will first see if there's sufficient funds to pay in terms of the decree of divorce before they allow the member to make a savings withdrawal claim. However, where there is a pending divorce, so the fund has been notified of a pending divorce proceedings between the member and the non-member spouse, the member will not be permitted to make a savings withdrawal claim from his savings component, and there will be a form, excuse me, for the non-member spouse to complete, giving her consent to settle for the fund to pay any savings withdrawal benefits. Kia, is there anything that you would like to add on that?
No, I'm satisfied with your answer. Thank you, Carla.
Rowan, I think this, and for Jaina, maybe we can tackle this one. Can you withdraw even if you have a pension-backed home loan with NBC?
Yes, you can, but obviously there'll be checks, like you had mentioned, for the divorce order that we receive. We'd have to make sure that there's enough money in all three components to settle that home loan should it have to be settled before we can actually make that two-pot payment. So we'll do a check on our side just to make sure that we have sufficient monies left behind to pay that or settle that home loan. Once we're satisfied that we are able to do that, we will then process the two-pot savings withdrawal. If we feel that we're not going to have enough money to settle the home loan, we'll then advise the member that two-pot withdrawal cannot be processed.
100%. And maybe just important to also mention is that these kinds of deductions, your divorce orders, home loans, employer damages, maintenance orders, is going to be deducted across all three of your components proportionally. So the outstanding home loan balance or the payment to the non-member spouse, it's not coming from whatever is in the member savings component alone. So the fund is going to take into consideration what is in the vested component, savings component, and the retirement component combined. Okay, for how long will it take the money to appear in the member's bank account? I think, Rowan, you indicated that we're working on 30 days.
Correct,
given
yes.
the complications.
Correct.
So 30 days from date of the submission of your claim. So we've got a question. I think, Jaina, you could perhaps tackle this one. Values and transaction screen. How will it work for bulk submissions?
So when the employer submits a bulk application form for multiple employers, we have built-in criteria in processing that bulk upload to tell you whether a member qualifies or not, does not qualify. Should an employer want to know what that information is up front, we can provide that information on request.
Thank you, Jaina. And yeah, I think we had a similar question earlier, but nonetheless, let's just check it. What happens to the Provident Fund's non-vested monies that were accumulated from March 2021? Since this contained retirement and savings component at 1/3, would seeding capital still apply? So yes, seeding capital does apply to your entire vested component. So when they calculate the seeding amount that's going to be transferred to your savings pot, it's going to look holistically at your entire vested component, inclusive of your non-vested and vested rights. So it will, say for example, it's 30,000 Rand, it will be calculated from what is in your entire vested component. It doesn't differentiate between your non-vested and vested benefits. The people want to know how long it's going to take for them to get their money. Here's our third question. Just to clarify, it's 30 days. Will the two-pot system set up automatically for us on NBC for a withdrawal? Currently, we are non-contributing members for Sedibeng Water Fund and waiting FSCA approval to transfer the fund to the new administrator. So please correct me if I'm wrong, but with pending Section 14 transfers, where an application has been submitted but it has not yet been approved by the FSCA, you will be submitting your savings withdrawal claims to NBC. So you will have something in your pot, because whatever was in your vested component, they will set up a savings component, because they have to make the provision for the savings or the CV capital to be housed in. If you're contributing to the new fund, they will also set up the 1/3, 2/3, so savings and retirement contribution pots in the new fund, but pending approval by the FSCA, you need to submit your claim with NBC.
Carlo?
Yes,
Could you
Jana.
just cover rule amendments and the requirements there before saving withdrawals can be made?
Okay, so the fund's rules has to be amended and registered by the FSCA before this will be allowed. Okay, so I'm not too sure where we are in the process specifically for the Citibank fund.
No, that's just in general, not specifically around Citibank.
Okay, so in order for funds to allow for two pots withdrawals to be permitted by the members, the rules has to be registered and submitted. So without having received the registered rules from the FSCA, members will unfortunately not be allowed to do any withdrawals. So from NBC side, we have submitted amendments on all of our funds, and we have started receiving back rule amendments from the FSCI, as well as some minor queries that we need to be addressed. Kia, is there anything you would like to add on to that?
So with regards to the update that NBC can provide, is to say that the minor queries that we did receive, I think it was about 2 of them, they were addressed. And given the fact that the template that we did submit across all the funds are quite similar, we foresee that most of the funds rules will be approved prior to the 1st of September. Thank you, Carla.
Thank you, Kia. We've got a question from HR. Do we as HR have to submit the claim for the member? And Jana, you did touch on that. So there's 3 different avenues the member can pursue.
So there's 4 different avenues. The employer can submit a manual claim form on behalf of the member. The employer can submit it online. The employer can submit a bulk template, and then the member can submit it himself online, provided that he's registered as a user online. So those are the 4 different avenues to submit claims.
Thank you,
Jana.
Carla. Once a member is registered on Ask and the member submits a claim, another one, how long does it take for the money to reflect? 30 days.
Yep.
We did cover what is the difference between the vested and the non-vested components. Can this online portal share to HR staff? I'm not sure that I do understand this correct. Maybe you've got better insight into this question, Jana.
I'm not quite certain. So let me just answer the question this way. Maybe Rowan can add to it. So the online portal is available to all members, provided they have been registered and been given access to the system. So I'm not sure that answers the question.
Yeah, and in terms of if employer access, there can be multiple users in HR that has access to the platform as well. So if an employer wants to register multiple users to actually submit claims or view information on the Ask platform, they can then register multiple users within the organization.
Thank you, Rowan. Yeah. Kia, you can perhaps tackle this one. Do I qualify for a savings withdrawal benefit, I suppose, if I have less than 60,000 in my fund credits?
Okay, so given the fact that we are going to apply the once-off transfer, which being the 10%, so what a member with 60,000 will be able to see come 1 September in their savings account balance or savings component balance would be 6,000, as 10% of 60,000 is 6,000. And currently, the legislation says that in order for you to be able to withdraw from that savings component, you have to have a minimum of 2,000 Rand. So for that particular member, they would be able to withdraw come 1st of September. Thank you, Carla.
Kia. So yes, then just to note that you should have at least 20,000 Rand in your vested pot to have a seeding amount of 2,000 Rand, which will be your minimum withdrawal permitted. So there's no cap of how much you can take. There's only the minimum amount. You cannot take less than 2,000 Rand. Next question. If a member doesn't claim this year and had a savings total of 30,000 Rand and then decides to claim next year, will they be able to claim more than the 30,000 Rand if it is available? Kia? You're on mute.
Yeah, you're on mute.
She has been on mute.
Thank you. So sorry about that. So what I had said was that with regards to the 30,000, that cap is only applicable to the transfer that the fund will make on your behalf as a member. So for instance, a member who has 5,000 as their fund credit, they will only have 500 Rands in their savings balance, right? In their savings component. Whereas someone who has 350,000 Rand as their fund credit, they will only have a maximum of 30,000 in their savings component come 1 September. So that's the balance that they will have. However, in terms of what it is that they can withdraw, there's no limitation. That is literally, or rather strictly based on what you have as a balance in your savings component. So that is the discretion that the member has with regards to how much they withdraw from the savings component. I hope that addresses the issue with the 30,000 being the maximum.
Yeah, so if you don't catch your 30,000 Rand this year and you leave it to grow, we will keep on accumulating the 1/3 of all future contributions. So if you decide next year or the year after that, your savings component would have grown significantly and you will be permitted to take the entire part. Then we have a question from admin people. Do we have to register all our employees on Ask before the 1st of September? We're not sure if all our employees are going to want access to the savings portion. So the question is two-part. Jana?
So you don't have to register all employees before 1 September. The request to register members prior to 1 September or soon thereafter is to give employees or members access to submit their own savings withdrawals. So you don't have to register them right away. You can do them at any point in time. Should they not be registered, the employer would have to submit their savings withdrawals online or manually, preferably online. Thank you, Kia. Carla.
And then here is a question for more information regarding the bulk application process by employers.
Sorry, go, Rowan.
Okay, so in terms of the bulk application process for two-part claims, there is a specific spreadsheet which will be provided to employers. Then they can capture multiple members' details on there, including their claim values, and provide that back to us. We will then process those claims in bulk on our system. So that alleviates the member for the employer themselves from completing individual manual forms. They'll just have to complete that Excel spreadsheet and provide that to us, and we will then be able to pay those claims out in bulk.
So just to add to that, Rowan, so should the employer want to know what the savings withdrawal portion is as at 1 September, that information can be provided to the employer post 1 September because the seeding will physically take place on our live environment during the week of the 31st of August. So post that date, the template can be provided pre-populated with the saving values already included. That will just assist the employer complete the balance of the details. Thank you, Carla.
Thank you, Jaina. So we've got a question in terms of our service fee. Is the 350 Rand a flat rate withdrawal fee, or it depends with the withdrawal amount?
That's a flat rate fee at the moment, irrespective of the withdrawal amount, Carla.
Thank you. And just to add, it's exclusive of VAT.
It's exclusive of VAT. That's right.
So there's a question for clarity on the example of 2,000 Rand. Will I only get 1,650 will only the 1,650 be taxable after taking the 350 service fee? That is correct. So you will be taxed on the net amount after tax. After the service fee.
After fees, that's right.
Yeah, sorry. Will employees be able to update their own banking details and contact numbers on the online portal, or will it need to come from payroll?
So when a member is submitting a two-part claim, at that point in time, they'd be able to update their banking details. It obviously has to be their bank account because we will do a bank verification before we make payment. So they can update their banking details at that point in time. Unfortunately, when it comes to contact details, that needs to come via the employer, just to ensure that it's being, that the member's verified and we are updating the correct details for the correct member. Banking details, however, they can update when processing two-part claims.
Thanks, you, Rowan. Then we've got another question regarding the submissions. Where do you upload the ID and bank statement on the portal? Or will this be the employer's template verifying these details?
Carla, bank statements and ID documents are only required in terms of manual claim forms being submitted, which will only be submitted by the employer. Those documents will be attached to that manual claim form, which will be scanned and emailed to the central mailbox, or alternatively delivered to NBC offices.
Thank you, Jaina. The next question is regarding the transfer amount from savings to retirement pot. How does this process work? Will the member be able to do these transfers online?
So at this point in time, members won't be able to do that transfer online. That is something that will be in place down the line. We do have an intra-fund switch form, which the member will need to complete and submit to us, just to let us know in terms of the values that they want to transfer between the different components. So on the form, they'll indicate the savings component if they want to transfer that to the retirement component, as well as the vested component into the retirement component. So there is a manual form that can be used, which will be provided to all employers and be on our website as well. And down the line, we will have online functionality where it can be done online as well.
Thank you, Rowan. Yeah, so for now, it's a manual process, but we're looking to automate it further down the road.
Correct.
Then we've got a question. If you have both Provident and Pension Fund, are they all included under one pot, or will they be two separate pots? So you will have all of these components per contract. So for each, so in this instance, we have a Provident Fund and a separate Pension Fund. You will have a savings component under one. For me, example, I've got a Provident Fund as well as a retirement annuity somewhere else with two contracts under that annuity. So there I will have 3 savings pots. I hope that that I've addressed that. So it's per contract. So however many contracts you do have under your name, that is how many savings components you will have access to. Then we've got a question relating to SARS. If I owe SARS, are they going to deduct the money I owe from my withdrawal? Unfortunately, yes. So not only on your marginal rate for the specific, all arrears that is due to SARS will come off first.
Paula, may I just add something onto that for members to be aware of? So when you apply for a two-top savings withdrawal, and the administrator, being NBC in this case, applies for the tax directive, and that tax directive is received, that directive, according to SARS, may not be cancelled. So even if you cancel your withdrawal, that payment would already have been made to SARS. And the only way to claim that back is when you do your annual assessments and submit your tax returns.
Thank you, Jana. That is a very important piece of information that our attendees have to take note of. Okay. So we have addressed similar questions. If a member doesn't claim in the current tax year, will they be allowed to claim double in the following tax year? So you will be able to claim the following tax year, but it's not necessarily double. So you will have 30,000 Rand that's going to be transferred on the 1st of September. That seeding transfer is only a once-off event. So it's not going to be every year that they transfer 30,000 Rand. And next year, if you don't take the 30K this year, it's going to be 60K. If you don't withdraw, it's going to be your 30,000 plus whatever is accumulated into your savings component until when you decide. So depending on your contribution rate, 1/3 split of those contributions added onto the 30,000 Rand that's going to be available.
Carla, can I just add to that?
Yes, please, Jana.
I think you can look at that two ways, that question. Can I claim doubles, in other words, 30 times 2, which then becomes 60? Or can I make 2 withdrawals within a tax year? So the answer is you cannot make 2 withdrawals within a tax year, even if they add up to 30,000 or whatever is in your savings withdrawal. You can only make 1 withdrawal.
Yeah, okay, I see that. Thank you. Thank you, Jana. And then how will we know if there is a pending divorce court order or maintenance order? So in terms of maintenance orders, these kinds of orders will directly be sent to the fund by the maintenance investigator or the maintenance court. Or also where they have investigations pending a maintenance order, they will also notify the fund, and the fund will be subpoenaed to provide certain information to the investigating officer. It's slightly different when it comes to a pending divorce matter. So their onus will be on the non-member spouse or the member to notify the fund that he either has instituted a divorce action or the non-member has sued him for a divorce. The court is under no obligation to notify the fund of those pending divorce matters. And you would like to add on to that?
Carla, there is a bit of background noise on your side, so I'm not too sure if that has affected the ability of our attendees to hear your answer.
Is it feeding from my side?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to, I don't know what that. Okay. We go to, so the next one is is the background noise still there?
No, we just received confirmation that the background noise is no longer there.
All right, thank you so much. Where do we get that system number that we enter before we click the claim button?
So that system number is a unique system number provided by NBC Admin System. So should the employer require a list of those system numbers, we can provide it. I use the system number because I had access to it. For an order for a member or an employer to search, for an employer to search for a member, they can use either the ID number, surname, employee number. When a member actually accesses the website to submit his claim or view his information, he'll have access directly to his information only. So if he accesses the website, he's going to land on a page with only his information. He won't have to search. If it's the employer, they will access to their fund only, and it'll bring up their members belonging to that fund. They will have to search for employee number 3456, and it will come up with whoever that employee is. System numbers are not readily available to the employer, but should they want that system number, we can provide the system numbers to the employer. Thank you, Carla.
Thank you, China. And then I'm not sure if I do understand this question correctly. So the admin fee, the service fee, is it charged only if the members withdraw or employer representative? So yes, this is not a monthly admin fee. This is a once-off fee that's going to be charged as a service fee upon making a savings withdrawal claim. Right. I hope that I understood that question correct. It's not an increase on your monthly admin fee to the administrator.
So the fee will only be levied if a savings withdrawal is submitted by the member, and it's the fee is payable by that specific member and not the rest of the members on the fund. Thanks, Paula.
Is there a place for a calculator to check estimate net amount before submitting a savings withdrawal? Rowan?
So there is a calculator on our website. I think you alluded to that earlier, Carla, where we have the two-pot savings. In terms of that calculator, it's a very basic calculator. I think it's mainly because we don't necessarily have members' annual taxable income, and we also don't know if there's any arrear tax that a member might owe SARS. So it's a little difficult for us to give an accurate value. I think it just gives you an estimate of what your seeding might be and what your value can be. But it's not an accurate calculator because, like I said, there's too many variables for us to take into account.
Yeah, so
Thanks,
it's
Carla.
important that yes, China.
I think tax on that calculator is set at the highest, right, Rowan?
Yeah, I think it might be set at the highest rate.
Thank you. So we've got another question. What happens to the members who were 51 in March 2021? They have to specifically opt in to form part of this new regime. Should they decide not to opt in, the exact same rules that were applicable to them during March 2021 would still be applicable. Important to note that is for Provident Fund members only. Okay.
And Carla, one more thing to note, it's the members that were aged 55 on 1 March 2021.
Yeah, sorry, not 51. Yeah, so to the person who raised this question, if you were 51 on 1 March 2021, so we are looking at age 57, 58 now. We're receiving a lot of similar questions. I don't want to repeat too many. When you say that a member will be able to make withdrawals once per tax year, does that mean we'll be able to make withdrawals in 2025 again on April 1st, or is it going to be September again? So there's a difference between a calendar year that's from January to December and the implementation date of the two-pot regime that is the 1st of September, and a tax year. I think, yeah, you touched on it. So the tax year begins in March every year until the end of February the next year. So you will be allowed within that period to make a savings withdrawal. Okay. So that is once per tax year, but it could be that it falls within the same calendar year. So, for example, if you withdraw in the end of January and then again at the end of March. So that will be within the same calendar year. When I don't access savings pot money from now, 1st of September, till a period of 3 years, will I be able to withdraw all the money available in that pot? Yeah.
Yes, so you would be able to withdraw whatever balance is in your savings component. That is only also provided that you have more than the minimum amount that is required in order for you to be able to withdraw from your savings component, and that being 2,000 Rand. But if your accumulation is more than 2,000 Rand, you're more than willing and welcome, I guess, and able to, rather, willing and more able to withdraw the maximum that is within your balance in the savings component.
Thank you, Kia. So just in the essence of time, I see we did receive quite a lot of questions. So I'm going to allow 3 more questions, I think, and then we can close off the session. Members who feel that their queries have not been addressed are more than welcome to forward those via email to our 2pots@nbc.co.za website or phone our hotline. So we've got a question. Do members have to have the 2-pot system? What if they just want to keep their provident fund continues as per now, so they don't lose out on their retirement fund? So this new regime is applicable to everybody, apart from our members that was 55 on the 1st of March 2021. You will not be losing out on your retirement fund money. So you would have access then to make a savings withdrawal in cases of emergency. However, you do not have to withdraw that money. You can always transfer it to your retirement fund, and the retirement fund's going to remain there until you retire. And then, like we explained earlier, that you can still take the full vested part when you resign from your employer. Okay. And then a question is, will the link be sent to us to register members? Jaina?
Sorry, I'm
asking, will the link, how would the link be sent to them to register the members?
So the link won't be, there isn't a link that will be sent to them. We require the information so that we can register members on behalf of the employer. So that's the template I spoke about during the presentation, which is also included in our administration guide, and we're happy to provide that to all the employers. So there isn't a specific link. So if members want to join, they will have to access the portal. They have to access NBC Land and go and register there. When they try and register there, there will be a request for the employer to verify that that's an employee of theirs or it's a valid member, whereafter we'll provide the access to the actual members. I hope that answers the question. Rowan, anything you want to add on?
Yeah, I think there has been communication going out to employers from the administrators themselves requesting the information. So that's on an ongoing basis. So I think employers must just look out for that communication that's coming through with the actual template, and then they can complete that and send that back through to us so we can register the members. Thanks, Carla.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rowan. And we have it's reached the end of our session today. Thank you to all of our panel members. Thank you, Jaina, Rowan, and Kia for assisting with all the Q&As. And I would like to thank all of our viewers who attended the session this morning. We hope that you found it very informative. And then we will be distributing the link to this recording right after the presentation as soon as it's available. We will also be uploading this to the NBC website and the YouTube channel. And then just to reiterate, for any further questions that you would like to be answered, you can address them to 2pots at nbc.co.za. And the telephone number to use is 010-206-0014. And that is it from us today. Have a lovely day further. Thank you, everyone.